Alright, so this nigga, Anthony Fantano just dropped a review on Iceman, dog. And I know he gonna be hitting. I already know he gonna be hitting. Like me personally, I gave the album a 9 out of 10. I like every song, dominate every song. He went 14 for 18. This is my receipts right here. This is my receipts. So I'm gonna have the album out in the background while he's talking about it to see his criticisms. I already know I know he gonna hit it. Like if Kendrick Lamar made this album, he would have been, he would have been boy. He wouldn't even be able to comprehend the album. His head would have exploded, bro, from all the glazing. Like on me, if Kendrick Lamar made Iceman, he would have given it a 10. Like he gave GNX like a 9 out of 10 or some shit, like a 9 or 8. GNX is not better than this album. On me, GNX is not better than this. Oh, and he gave that like an 8 or a 9. Watch, he about to hit. Watch and see. Watch and see.
Hi everyone, Wintermelon here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Drake album, Iceman. Here we have the newest and 9th full-length solo album from Toronto rapper, singer, songwriter, Aubrey Drake Graham. The boy himself, with one of the most anticipated records of the year, if not the decade. A moment that, despite all the forced...
Not the decade. Not the decade. I spot goes to Utopia or Donda. But like, that's because I'm messing with Jared right now, sure. That's the biggest of the... I see people saying that The Fall Off with J. Cole is one of the most popular or most anticipated albums of the decade. No, it wasn't. That album fell off so quick compared to the other albums. Like people said that some of the most popular albums this decade were like Donda, Utopia, Iceman, Mr. Morale, GNX, Whole Lotta Red, Music. Like nah, gang. The Fall Off is not in those conversations. People start talking about The Fall Off one day into the release. Like if it was on Twitter, right? Nobody was talking about The Fall Off compared to these other albums that dropped. Like The Fall Off fell off on me. On me. That album was not one of the most popular albums this decade. Like Emotions by Nine Vicious is more popular than that album. I swear to God.
miles and
That this shit 30 minutes long? Oh my God. I thought this was gonna be like a 12-minute review. I didn't 20. Oh my God.
Posts about big opening day numbers for this project has more or less boiled down to a ripping the band-aid off type moment, the likes of which we have never seen from a Drake rollout before. Like the way this man has unflinchingly released some of the laziest projects of his whole career without even second guessing himself, be it either More Life or honestly Nevermind, and yet it took second guessing himself, be it either More Life or...
I gotta listen to More Life, but the songs that I heard off of More Life are fire. But I gotta hear the whole album. Honestly, Nevermind, that album good. Nah. The first time I heard it, I liked it, but like, nah, I can't say that album good. That was like a 4 out of 10 album. I liked some songs off of it though. Like on my first listen, I liked the album, but like, it grew off of me. It grew off of me after a while. Yeah, okay. He right then. Like, he right with these two albums.
Or honestly, Nevermind. And yet, it took years for Drake to figure out what he was going to do on Iceman, working from a place of disarray out in the open the entire time. Cause what a lot of Drake's fans have built up to be a methodical, ambitious rollout has just been one long, ongoing distraction for Drake to figure out what his next move or sure bet is going to be. Something I don't entirely fault Drake for, because losing the biggest battle in hip-hop history by a wide margin would most likely put anyone in a position where they are, thinking twice about what they're going to do.
But a large margin is crazy. Like the only reason that Drake lost was because he fumbled on the Heart Part 6. Like if Drake was actually dissing Kendrick back on that album, if he started dissing him instead of like doing a like, I don't know what he was doing. Like he was like saying Kendrick's bars weren't true instead of dissing him back. Like what was he doing, dog? Like all he had to do was diss Kendrick back. You don't gotta worry about what he said. Like you could address some of it, but like make it a whole song about that. He didn't. I don't even think he dissed Kendrick once. The only diss he did was like that mother talk, like trying to make fun of his uncle or something. Like boy, if the Heart Part 6 was a good diss track, that me Drake would have won. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't gonna win. Like, but like the Heart Part 6 was trash. That's the reason that he lost by a wide margin. Like, like Kendrick didn't even respond to it. That was crazy. That's the only reason though. That Heart Part 6 was trash.
Do next. This was likely also worsened by the L's that Drake was taking in the courtroom too. And believe it or not, in the last 2 years, Drake
Bro taking L's in and outside the studio like that. How that? What he said? He was whatever. Gang, do what you want, sue whoever you want. But that was weird. That was weird. Like, I don't want to go into it. Be here for the music. I'm not here for that.
has done so much promo, dropped so many songs, despite the fact that numerous delusional voices come out of the woodwork every week to build this narrative that hip-hop is worse off without Drake and the game isn't the same without him. But like, Drake is very much here. Not only was there a short film Iceman episodic series of videos that mostly served to put out song clips of ideas that Drake was kind of, beta testing for the record, obviously. But the dude also dropped multiple demos, song sketches, stuff through that plot twist account, whatever the hell 100 gigs was. Even singles like What Did I Miss that dropped in July of last year that everybody somehow forgot about because nobody's been listening to that damn song since. Not to mention the track didn't even make...
Don Gang, is this a review or we just hit it on Drake? What is he in a review talking about nobody listening to a song? That don't got nothing to do with the quality, gang. Boy. That don't got nothing to do with the quality. You didn't even say if you liked the song or not. You just said nobody listening. Boy, what are you... I was low-key weird, dog. I could tell he gonna be biased already. I could tell he gonna be biased. Nigga said nobody listening to the song instead of saying his opinion on the song. Like, I already know how this review gonna go.
Make it to #1 and tumbled down the charts pretty quickly after its peak. Drake also did songs with Yeet and 21 Savage that were also pretty quickly forgotten. A Hey There Delilah cover that I never want to think about again. And of course that whole Some Sexy Songs For You collaborative album with Party Next Door. One of the most drab projects he has ever...
I don't, like, you can't remember the last time I listened to that album, but like, I like some songs off of that though. Like, CN Tower, Mothballs, Nokia, Give Me a Hug, Brand Steel, Somebody Loves Me, Spider-Man, Superman. Meet Your Padre was good. I do care. That was a good song. I got some songs off of that though. Like, that album not terrible, but I haven't listened to it in a long time, so I don't mean. But I don't think this better than Honestly Nevermind though. It's not better than her. Like, comparing his collab albums, it's not better than Her Loss or What I Tend to Be Alive. This is the worst collab album, but like I would give it like a 5 or a 6 all the time.
Put out, save for Nokia, which was the closest thing to a broadly appealing smash that Drake has delivered in the last few years. All of this points to a reality that I feel like a lot of Drake's biggest fans are having a hard time facing, that the boy doesn't really have the juice quite like he used to. Not to say Drake isn't still one of the most popular hip-hop artists on the planet, one of the most streamed, he certainly is, but I think the days of Milk and Honey, of Drake's stimulus packages, of him being able to shape the mainstream layer of hip-hop merely by dropping a song that goes into a new direction, yeah, I think that's all done. Be it either due to the beef or years of self-fulfilling prophecy packed into every album for the last 6 or 7 years, where Drake is throwing out endless subliminals alongside all of these proclamations of how alone and isolated he is in the world, how lonely it is at the top. And now more than ever on Iceman, that really does seem to be the world he is living in. And that already seemed like it was the case on For All the Dogs. Now it is worse. And even if the first day numbers on this album are impressive, which they were, I don't think long term this is a sustainable model for Drake. Because Drake historically is nothing if not a collaborator, an adopter of different styles and regional music trends. And that has depended on the willingness of other artists from whatever world he is trying to emulate to bring him along the way and legitimize whatever it is he's attempting. But during the beef, Kendrick effectively called out Drake's habit of doing accents on tracks, as well as running to Atlanta for legitimacy on Not Like Us, and I think that has poisoned the well a little bit. But even this, I'm
gonna let Rick. I can't even get mad at him about talking about Kendrick in this review because Drake was talking about Kendrick the entire time on the album, but like, I ain't trying to hear this, dude. I ain't trying to hear this, gang. Like, I don't care about Kendrick, gang. I don't care about what Kendrick said about Drake using the accent. I don't care about Drake being a culture vulture in Atlanta. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know what it's got to do with anything, but like, I mean, it got to do with, he was right. He was talking about it in the music, so he got to talk about it in the review, but like, I don't care, gang. I genuinely don't care if Drake steals music from other artists or other places in the world. I don't. I don't. I don't, gang. On me.
I think would be an easy workaround for Drake if there was a really obvious sound, direction, or new hit tune on the charts that he could easily glom onto, and there really isn't. I mean, in the lead up to this project, there haven't really been too many rap artists with #1 hits, top 10 hits. Also, recent flirtations with more underground sounds, rage adjacent aesthetics that Drake has done have been passable at best. What few attempts he's made at going for a more Latin sound have been laughable, like on Meet Your Padre. And while, yeah, there are a lot of exciting new voices out there on the scene when it comes to female rappers, Molly Santana is handily the worst feature on this entire project, and a lot of Drake's fans don't even mess that heavily with Sexy Red.
I know he's gonna say somebody like Jane Remover is better than Molly Santana. I'm taking Molly Santana over Jane Remover. Who else is better than Molly Santana? Who else? Gang, he gonna say underscores. Boy, gang. I feel like Molly Santana was the best person from the underground that is a girl to mix with Drake style, but like, I know people gonna say like opposites attract. Getting somebody that is not close to Drake's style and collabing and making something different would be better, but like, who cares? Who cares, gang? Nobody wants Jane Remover on their album. No one wants Jane Remover on their album, gang. Molly Santana was the best feature. Like, you said she's the worst? So that means that you prefer 21 Savage over her? Oh, nah. Oh, nah. 21 Savage didn't even do nothing on the album, dude. Boy, yo. Yo.
Red, who he seems to enjoy collaborating with the most these days. Whether it's dancehall or drill, I will give Drake credit in doing an admirable job of worming his way into these worlds and dropping widely appealing hits that really prove his versatility. And given his history of that, you have to kind of wonder why not cross over and collaborate with a BTS or even a Morgan Wallen right now. For an artist as big and as widely appealing as Drake, if he was focused purely on the music, you would think that's what he'd be doing. But in the last few years, he's been way more focused on building a rapport with online gambling addicts and streamers who have credible allegations and have been recorded having conversations with minors. So, lack of a new direction, a new musical wave to ride, makes it even more likely that Drake is going to spend the bulk of this record addressing the elephant in the room, because the biggest question going through the minds of many in the lead up to this record is how will Drake address having suffered such a miserable loss? And the approach is something I'm sure he's been wrestling with for these 2 full whole years, and yet somehow he still landed essentially on something that reads very clearly as bitter, sad, obsessed, and make-believe. Because the bulk of Iceman's most memorable moments kind of boil down to Drake calling out everyone who has switched up on him. And deserved or not, putting all of these names...
Not gonna lie, that wasn't the most memorable part for me. Like, on me. Like, it wasn't even... I told you, I'm sick of this beef with Kendrick Lamar and LeBron James. I'm tired of hearing it. So it was just tuning out all of that. Like, I feel like the most memorable part of Iceman was the flows, gang. The flows were catchy and the beats were good. Like, it was just a fun album. Like, songs like Shebang, Janice, like Janice, whatever that called. I like Too Hard for the Radio. What other song? I like Whisper My Name. The songs just fun to me. They're just fun songs. They are better than the songs on GNX. Like Peekaboo. Oh my gosh. TV Off. That song horrible. What that song called? Dodgers Blue. Horrible. Like gang. Like since you want to compare it, since you want to talk about the beef, we gonna compare GNX to Iceman. Iceman is way better, by far. On me. Like the only good songs on GNX was like Reincarnated. Lufer was that song not good. Gloria is good though. And then what other good songs on that album? I like Here No good. The intro. What the intro called again? Wow, Oat Murals. That was a good song. That album ain't on shit. You gave that like an 8, dog. Like, what are you on? This album is better than GNX. I'm not gonna say it's better than Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale is a good album, but like, if you're talking about albums after the beef, this album is better. I could. I would even say Men of Honor is better than GNX also. I saw that pitch part rated Men of Honor 8. I rated it an 8 2 game. They just let me they rated Iceman a 4.8, but they rated Men of Honor 8. But on me, I mess with that rating. I know a lot of people gonna hate, but like I mess with that rating. I'm the day one Iceman, Men of Honor defender. Ability, not really that much, but like Men of Honor and Iceman, I'm the day one defender. I'm the day one defender when everybody switches up. On me, on me, man.
On blast so repeatedly actually does weigh down the entertainment value of this record. Not only because much of the time it's not that witty, but it's also kind of low-hanging fruit too. Like, getting a few bars off on a goofball like DJ Khaled is not some lyrical feat.
I agree. I didn't like those DJ Khaled bars though. Like, what was he? I even said it on my album reaction. What was he dissing DJ Khaled for? Like, that was so worthless, dude. It's DJ Khaled. Although all people you diss DJ Khaled, he didn't even do nothing to, like, come on, Drake.
Even if you are making a valid point about Palestine in the process. And while some bars and retorts might actually have something to them, they're going through the net long after the shot clock is run out. Like, for example, maybe a flip on the phrase, "what is it, the braids," would have actually, like, hit pretty hard in the midst of the battle. But 2 years later, this just feels like the rap equivalent to thinking...
I can't believe that beef was 2 years ago, dog. I feel like it just happened. Like, 2025 was so boring that, like, that beef, like, it feels so fresh, dude. Like, oh man. Yo, that beef was 2 years, gang. And, like, that beef happened, like, in April, so it's actually 2 years, like, genuinely. That was genuinely 2 years ago. Like, gang. Oh man.
Of what you should have said during an argument that happened a week ago. Still, Drake insists on making the lumps he took in the midst of this battle Iceman's focus, to the point where the only way I could imagine anyone enjoying this whole entire album is if you are currently carrying some sort of insecurity or trauma as a Drake fan. And now this
He talking to me. I'm not a Drake fan, dude. What drama or insecurity would I have? I'm not a Drake fan, gang. Me, a drama or the only way you could enjoy it, like, so you telling me that I can't find the songs enjoyable? I gotta be insecure about something? Like, boy, I could say the same thing for you, Anthony, about GNX. Like, that album, like, if you really wanted to be, like, unbiased, that album should have gotten like a 4 out of 10 or a 5, at least a 6. But like, gang, what this album? Will you hate this one so much? Like, this, I don't understand. Like, damn, like, wait, I feel like he just been, like, when it comes to other artists, when he reviews Drake, I feel like he don't even like Drake for real. Like, on me, like, I feel like he just come in here, he already has his opinion set, like, he gonna hit. Because I feel he just doing anything but reviewing the album. Like, he was putting up DJ Academics. Who cares, dude? He like, boy. On me again.
Album is an opportunity to enact some kind of revenge or something, which is a level of parasocial insanity that should have you committed in a just society. Of course, in reality, the door closed on Drake being able to control the narrative around this loss a long time ago, back when The Heart Part 6 dropped. The Heart Part 6. However, that clearly isn't going to stop him or his fans from pretending like they can rewrite history and act like first day numbers for this album somehow speak louder than a bruised ego. In a lot of ways, Iceman and its rollout is kind of a reflection of our world now, because like or dislike of this album and its content goes beyond just mere preference and opinion at this point. It's a reflection of groups of music fans, even people who are into politics, living in completely different realities. And nowhere is this more apparent than in the track Make Them Remember, which leaked hours before this record's official release and was originally, unofficially I guess, titled 1 AM in Albany, which in a lot of ways runs like your usual Drake diatribe. Slow trap beat, moody, filtered soul sample hanging quietly in the background, which is the perfect setting for Drake to very slowly and steadily drop one double entendre and piece of wordplay after another as a means of laying out everything that has been on his mind for the past 2 years. And as a lyrical exercise, the track definitely does have some notable moments, but by that same token, there are just as many lyrical duds and dragged out vendettas that nobody sane cares about 2 years later. Like, do I really give a shit about the the state of LeBron and Drake's relationship? No. Maybe if I was mentally in high school. And the same goes for bars that point out how much shorter Kendrick is than Drake. Okay, you've got.
I don't know what I don't know what he keep making fun of Kendrick Lamar's height. But look, he kind of funny though, because every time Kendrick Lamar takes a picture of his fans, he always makes them crouch. Like you will never find a picture of Kendrick Lamar standing next to a person. They always got to be crouching. Like boy, you could tell that he kind of insecure about the game. But I don't know if he really cares that much. But like, those pictures tell a different story. Like he might be a little insecure about it, but who cares, gang? Genuinely, who cares? On me. Make Them Remember is a good song though. I don't really care about him and LeBron James situation, but like I could see why he was mad at LeBron. That was his homeboy, and he was the way that he was saying "not like us" every single time. Like he was the one that made the song. He was saying it with his heart and soul. They were supposed to be homeboys, and he's singing "not like us." When he was saying it, he was singing it so. I don't know how to explain it, but he was saying it like with his heart and soul, gang. Like, and that was supposed to be Drake's homeboy. I don't know what happened, but he just randomly started writing and dying for Kendrick Lamar out of nowhere. That was a crazy switch up. I don't know if it was something behind the scenes or something, but like, boy, that was a crazy switch up. Every single video you see him singing all like, cause he's saying it with his heart and soul, and he not even bumping his head. He remembered the lyrics, and you know LeBron James don't know the lyrics to any song. So him remembering the lyrics for "not like us," you know something how to be serious, dude. You know he had boy. I see boy Drake mad though. Like, I mean,
Got bodied by a short guy. And all of this goes doubly for trying to sell us on the idea that there's an element of fascism to the dislike of Drake. With this one piece of wordplay saying that it's essentially a Nazi type thought to not want to see Drake at the top of hip hop, which, pause, is insane. Like, we're really gonna push the narrative that Kendrick is working like some kind of Nazi angle here, even as Drake's favorite streamer Aiden Ross loves to collaborate with Nick Fuentes and has complimented him numerous times. All this track goes to show is just how much the beef has been on Drake's mind for the past 2 years. And as punishment, he's gonna make all of us relive it through his point of view and self-imposed martyrdom. And of course there's an irony to titling this track Make Them Remember too, because this screed is essentially what has been on every hip-hop fan's timeline for the past year. Unfortunately, no one has forgot. We haven't been given the chance to forget. Also, sidebar, this song inadvertently shows just how much grace Jay-Z had after losing his battle to Nas back in the day, because within a similar span of time, Jay-Z returned and gave us 99 Problems, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Encore, and as great as Nas and as Ether was, as much of a power move that track was, ultimately it didn't matter because Jay was the master of his own reality and the ultimate dictator of his narrative, and showed us that through good lyricism and giving the fans what they wanted, good music, not just grievance masquerading as music. Conversely, with Iceman,
even I can't get mad at that point. That was a good point. That is a good point. That is a good point. I can't even get mad at that.
Drake can't help but confirm pretty much all of the worst criticisms against him. That he's a duplicitous creep and numbers-obsessed clout goblin. Even the cover of this record seems like a massive misstep. You're telling me during an album...
Yeah, I don't like this cover, dog. This cover is trash, dog. He using Michael Jackson's glove as a cover on Iceman League. Really? You cannot come up with that Iceman A cover where he's covered in nut. Like the blue nut. Like, it look like ice, but it kind of like nut. That album cover is better. The AI covers were better. Y'all know how they were making like Fireman, Obsidian Man, Grassman, all those AI covers. Like those covers were better than this, dude. I don't like this cover. I don't like any of the covers that he did. Like Habiba Butti cover trash. Made an Honor cover is trash. Like it's not probably the best one out of all three though. But it's not even bad. I just don't think it fits. It don't fit. I don't like it. I thought he was gonna come with something different.
Cycle where Drake is trying to get people to forget accusations that he has an interest in people who are age. You want to liken yourself to Michael Jackson. And even if you boil Drake's obsession with Mike down to merely a numbers thing due to the success that he saw during his career, the idea that Drake has ever been on Mike's level artistically or even commercially is a fantasy, no matter what the streams say. Like Make Them Cry, the opening track on this record, the most played on Spotify because obviously most people are going to hear the first track on an album everyone's trying. Yeah, on Spotify it quickly went #1 and then was immediately dethroned by Billie Jean, a track that's been surging up the charts again because of hype around the recent Michael Jackson biopic. But while Drake did actually drop some really dominant first day numbers with this album cycle, we can't ignore the fact that he also saw fit to drop 2 additional albums, which chatter around the internet right now is that he did it to finish out his UMG deal, but we can't pretend that creating a big numerical splash with so many songs wasn't a part of the calculus here. Now, Maid of Honor and Habibti are still very much worth assessing in my eye.
Habibti? Boy, that's how you pronounce it. I was pronouncing it wrong the entire day again. Entire time it dropped. Habibti. You gotta be pronouncing it wrong, gang. It's Habibti. That's how you pronounce it. Habibti, gang. Habibti. Nah, gang. That's not it. Habibti. That's it. Yeah, you wrong. I'm right.
I'm just not going to do it in this video, and I will save it for another one. Iceman here, though, like I said, kicks off with the song.
I got a feeling if he had to review Maid of Honor and Habibti, he would give them a not good. Because if he's giving Iceman a 2, which I think is the best one out of all 3, I don't think those other ones have got any chance of getting a good rating. Is he gonna give it a not good or a 1 out of 10 or a 0 or something? I don't know if he gives out zeros. I think he just gives out not good. But I feel like a 0 is worse than a not good. Like getting a 0 out of 10. Oh, I would rather give me that not good. Give me that not good, because not good makes it sound better like, than a 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10 makes it sound like it's a terrible album. Yeah, again, not good is better than a 0 out of 10.
Cry, and even though this track is far from Drake's best opener, there are some real and confessional moments in the midst of it, with Drake confessing that the beef really fucked him up, part of him died, and now he feels very alone. There aren't going to be as many features on this project as a result, and lines where he's talking about having to treat his father like his son's older brother in a way are kind of devastating and say a lot about the context in which Drake had to
I have to father my mother and treat my son's grandfather like my older brother. I have to father my mother and treat my son's Okay. This nigga really made a heartbreak album because of a diss track, because of a beef. Like, this is basically Blonde diss track edition. Anybody that ever got destroyed in a diss track gonna play this instead of Blonde. This is the depressed nigga album when he got beat in a fight. Anybody that got beat in a fight or dissed or something, this is the album for you. Because he basically making sad tracks about losing a beef. Like, what? Nigga making a heartbreak song because of Kendrick Lamar beating his ass in a beef. Like, damn, I never seen nothing like this before. A whole album about it too. Like, damn. Not gonna sad though. The beef messed him up that bad that he making these kind of heartbreak songs. Like, down. Like, I guess he really took it to heart. But he was the one that was begging Kendrick Lamar to draw on push-ups. He was talking about drop a 50 bag in the 9 on the spot. Like, he was telling the nigga to drop, and he did drop. So you told the nigga to do it. You basically told a nigga to kill you. Like, on me. Like, if I'm in a diss track, I'm not begging a nigga to drop a diss track on me. Am I dumb? He got like, what? When they drop a diss track, I'm hoping they don't respond. I'm not trying to do a diss track, gang. I'm not trying to go back and forth, boy. Nah, gang. I want to get the last hit, unless it's the hard part 6. I only want to get the last hit if my diss track was good. On me.
To grow up. However, there are still issues with this track. Eventually it kind of loses its thematic focus, and Drake once again finds himself telling stories about women who won't love him no matter how much money he throws at them, which you would figure Numbers Man would be able to math on that by now, nearing the age of 40, but I guess not.
Drake really admitted he don't get no hoes. Boy. Nigga, he don't get no hoes. He said nobody loves me even though they throw money at. That was tough, gang. Hit the bricks with me and see how many hoes we would get. I promise it could change your life, Drake. It could change your life. Dog, Drake. That's sad. This nigga is a sad man. He's the most popular rapper, but he's the most popular rapper in the world, and I still feel bad for this nigga. He living in a mansion as big as my neighborhood, and I still feel bad. Like, down, this nigga, like, down. He is a sad. He's not. I'm not gonna say pathetic, but like kind of pathetic. Like, but like sad at the same time. Me.
And every time he dips back into this thematic pool, it feels more and more like an incel bedtime story. Of course, Drake's persistently deflated delivery and beat switch dependency are problems too, because on Ice...
The thing is, right, firstly, I like this album, but he not making bad points. It's just that I don't care. I don't care about him talking about Kendrick. I just tune it out. I don't care about him crying about women not loving him. I just tune it out. I just like the song, I just like the sonics. I just like the song of the songs. I like how they song. I don't care about anything else. The beats were like the beat switches were a little too much, but I just don't care. I genuinely just gloss it over. I just ignore the things that I don't like because the things that I like about the song, them sounding good, was more important to me than the other stuff. I like most of the songs on the album, so I don't care about the other stuff. As long as the song sounds good, I don't care. Me.
Man, whenever Drake feels like he can't further develop a song, the best way to make it continue is to just introduce a random beat and go some other direction. Thankfully, the song Dust is a little bit better and more focused, definitely a track you might want to throw on the gym playlist, even though the track has a total non sequitur intro that's very much skippable. Though it's interesting that Drake makes reference to being in Australia at the time of recording, making reference to the 2025 tour that he didn't finish, and purposefully orchestrated so that he wouldn't be on the continent of North America during the time that Kendrick was going to be performing at the Super Bowl. So you can't really bullshit listeners acting like, oh man, I'm over in Australia. I wonder what's going on at home right now. I don't even know. At least the track has a banger beat. I love the blow the dust off your plaques refrain. But still, at the end of the day, the whole song is an exercise in willful ignorance. What was the year that they said you had slaps? Because I don't remember it going like that. I don't remember one word in your raps. I don't know nothing about you on them tracks. Like, plugging your ears and pretending your competition isn't making a dent would be an easier pill to swallow if you were actually able to nail down a #1 in the lead up to this project, but you weren't. Meanwhile, Whisper My Name does have a decently strong start to it, but this track is still further proof of Drake's inability to follow through on a song idea right now. I mean, the eerie, cold-blooded tone this track kicks off with is really solid and does a pretty good job of painting Drake as this larger-than-life figure who kind of haunts the industry in a way. But all of this quickly dissipates after a beat and flow switch that nobody asked for, as Drake moves into some of the worst.
I don't think the second half was terrible, but that first half of the song marks the second half. That first half marks the hell out of the second half. That first half was generational. One of the best verses I heard from Drake in a while, and the beat was amazing. But I don't hate the second half though. But I will always play that first half more than that second half. I wouldn't hesitate to skip the second half. I would skip that second half so many times. I don't even gotta hear it anymore after hearing it once.
Similes on the entire project. This shit like the bag that you bring on a plane, it's gonna carry on. These boys dress up and talk like somebody's shit is like Comic-Con. And it's only several tracks into this record that Drake's most obvious collaborators and influences start to rub off on him in the worst way. Like on Janice, STFU, which features that warbly vocal effect that we heard Lil Yachty hit us with when he took the walk to Poland. The track still features one of the best beats and choruses on the entirety of Iceman. It just goes off the Delulu deep end with some bars in the second half. White kids listen to you because they feel some guilt, and that's how your soul gets fulfilled. handing out turkeys on camera outside your hood, then you go back to the hills, which reads about as tone deaf as those bars on Family Matters where Drake was talking about Kendrick rapping like he's gonna free the slaves, which for sure, Kendrick isn't a perfect or uncritiquable figure when it comes to his politics or his activism. But the way Drake frames it on bars like these, it feels like he thinks putting anything pro-black in your music is just cheap and lame. Not to mention this question could also be flipped on Drake, who also has a very predominantly white...
I almost thought this nigga was shirtless, dude. I was about to chat, like, does he not he doesn't have any shirt under this flannel? Like, I was about to say, is this nigga shirtless? I didn't even realize it. But I could see a vest right there. Like, boy, I was about to say, like, I didn't even realize this nigga was shirtless, gang. I just realized it. Like, boy, he gotta make that vest come a little higher. Why is it so low? Like, oh me.
Not to mention this question could also be flipped on Drake, who also has a very predominantly white audience, and ask, why do white people listen to Drake? So they can feel comfortable in male aggrievement? Because that's all I'm hearing so far on this record. The song Ran to Atlanta, unfortunately, is further proof that Kendrick Lamar is in this man's head. Drake was made fun of for constantly going down to Atlanta to get beats, get collaborators, and he does it once again here, just to prove a point, I guess. The problem is that he's doing it with a song that frankly sucks. The Molly Santana feature on this thing is terrible, one of the most low effort phoned in features on any Drake record, period.
You didn't hear 21 Savage on Beats on the Table? So you're telling me that Molly Santana's verse was worse than that? Nah, dude. Nah, gang. Nah. That was not the most low effort verse from, like, she had the same flow as Future. She just stole Future's flow on the song, but like she did it better. I don't know how, but like she did better than Future and Drake. Like, what? The most low effort? Did Molly Santana not let you hate or something? Like, were you hating on her so much, dude? Like, boy. Like, what? That was not a bad verse. I want to hear you talk about Bees on the Table because 21 Savage did nothing on that song. How is that verse better than Molly Santana's verse? Nah, man.
The okay whisper ad-libs are not doing what Drake thinks they are doing. And also, there is a feature from Future on this track I have neglected to mention, and this might be the lowest amount of chemistry these two have shown on a track so far.
I agree.
Also, what happened to staying on your side? Not hearing it from people who switched up and all that. This man played a not inconsequential role in tipping the first domino that led to you getting called a Pedialyte drinker during the Super Bowl halftime show. Why?
I don't know why he forgave Future. I don't know why you forgave Future. If you could forgive Future, you could forgive J. Cole. I don't know about LeBron James. LeBron James be doing too much, but like, if you could forgive Future, forgive J. Cole.
Why is he here? If Drake can just so easily throw his feelings out the window due to desperation for a hit and to prove a point against one guy, then why should his fans carry water for any of the problems and issues that he's whining about throughout this entire album? Especially when this track features generic production, multiple beat switches, forgettable back and forth. The track really doesn't even hold a candle to some of the best bangers Atlanta has been dropping over the past 10 to 15 years. The track Shebang only highlights a further lack of inspiration on Drake's part. We get hit with what's essentially an old 21 Savage flow that Drake is doing nothing with.
That's true, though. That's true. I didn't catch that song. Yo, that is a 21 Savage flow. Yo, that is. And then he stole Kodak's Black flow. Wait, what song was it? He stole Kodak's Black's flow on Lil Birdie. He stole Kodak Black. I can't even say the nigga name. Kodak's. He stole Kodak's flow on Lil Birdie. But that song was good, though. Shebang good. I like the beat on Shebang. That was a good beat. I like that beat, but I don't care. I didn't even catch on that was a 21 Savage flow, but like, he's right. That Lil Key is a 21 Savage flow. He stole Sexy Red's flow too. I can't remember which song it was, but he stole Sexy Red's flow on one of these songs. I think it was Burning Bridges. I think that he got a Sexy Red flow in there somewhere. And then he stole Will Smith's floor on Too Hard for the Radio. Boy, if you know, you know again.
There's some random Migos ad-libs in the background that aren't elevating things much. Bryson Tiller nod too, that's kind of okay. The production has some buttery chipmunk soul chops, a basic trap beat, and Drake's delivery isn't really fiery enough to do much else other than inspire some light head nodding. It's passable. I guess it's fine if you need something to play in the car while you're making your way down to the corner store to buy some boner pills. Then Make Them Pay is truly oblivious.
Hey, this nigga yapping the boat, dude. That's what you just projecting. That's what you be doing. Boy, boner pills. You be doing that because what you just randomly said. You be doing that. You projecting, Anthony. Because why are you shirtless for Like look at you, like gang. Like why is your vest so low? Like you look shirtless, dude. You projecting.
And tone deaf song. I'm not sure if Drake being a Lil Wayne protege has ever worked against him more here, because simultaneously Drake wants us to hold space for the bitterness that he has against those who wronged him, while demanding that we take him seriously as he dishes out Jalen Hurts similes and bars like, I rack up a tab in Chanel cause I do buy everything like I'm Middle Eastern. I wish Drake would realize that bars such as these don't really work through welling eyes and slouched shoulders. Then there's the song Burning Bridges, which is too boring, too slow, waste of time, throw it out. It's like an old Kodak Black flow, but Drake somehow sounds even more zonked out than Kodak, while he simultaneously references a classic bar from Back to Back, which obviously came up in the midst of a beef he actually won. Why you would want to remind us of a point in time when you were objectively much better at rapping and picking beats too, I don't know. Then there's National Treasure, which to me just kind of feels like the longer this album goes on, the less of a purpose it serves. Not only because whatever momentum this track does build up in the first half is just completely obliterated by a beat switch with a downgraded groove and flow, a build up to a drop that never really shows up, at least not at a time to where it matters. And Drake, honest to God, ends this song with the words, how you dudes go from asking for some tickets, now you dudes trying to stop the show. Ironic, because the Iceman was a nice man, now I'm hot and cold. The Iceman was a nice man?
Yeah, I can't believe he did that bar. That was a funny ass bar. Not because it was supposed to be funny. It wasn't like we were laughing with Drake. We were laughing at him. Like, why did he do that? Boy.
Really, the midpoint of this whole record is a goddamn no man's land. It's so dejected and so hollow that even 21 Savage doesn't sound like he wants to be there. Meanwhile, Drake doesn't even feel like he can fully commit to the accent bit on the song Plot Twist. Come on, man, you're doing kind of a UK thing here. Just do the accent like you normally would. You're basically just barely tiptoeing over the line. You might as well. Meanwhile, What Did I Miss somehow sounds more punchy and lively in comparison with everything else here. And yeah, it's a track that misses that special something that makes so many big Drake songs anthemic, be it either God's Plan or Headlines or You the Best, so on and so forth. But again, it's still more of a thrill than most of what's here, so I can kind of see why it made it onto the record, even though it's so old now. Really, the most eventful track around the middle third of this project is the most confusing. That would be the song Too Hard for the Radio, a track that on the surface many are obviously noting as a Mac Dre tribute, but there are some deeper intentions to this song, especially as we move into the second half, because the whole track just feels like an exercise in mockery against Kendrick, who adopted a very local sound on his latest record, and the West Coast at large, where Drake has been kind of a laughingstock as of late. So in that respect, it's hard not to read this track as just straight up disrespectful, much in the same way the tailor-made freestyle was, where he was doing the whole Tupac AI voice emulation thing. So again, when you really think of it, how else can you read this track other than Drake just going out of his way to be a dick and disrespectful toward a legendary sound and song? Or at the very least, cheapening it by using it to get a nudge in edgewise against a guy you don't like. Unfortunately, the final moments of this record don't get much better. The song Lil Birdie has all of this mangled, awful vocal.
The last half of the album don't get any better. I like all of these songs. My favorite is Don't Worry though. That was a good. I don't know again. These songs, especially for friends, I made them know those are bangers. Like I can understand asking fans. I don't know liking these two songs, but these two songs are peak. These I don't know. I don't know what he wants. I don't know what he wants from Drake. I don't know. I don't know again.
Full processing, really thin mixing that makes the whole track sound like a demo. It just sounds like crap in comparison to most of what's here. I don't know why it's on the record at all. Then the song Don't Worry features these repeated, mind-numbing vocal leads that Drake beats into the ground for 4 straight minutes. And it's funny, on this record when Drake has like actually a very decent, very solid song idea, he only plays it out partially and immediately switches up into a totally different thing. But when he finds a mediocre idea, that's when he decides to repeat it until it's nearly torture. Great songwriting. Really good songwriting. Then Firm Friends, whose title makes me really sad because I was kind of hoping Drake would be referring to his friends at the law firm on this track. The track does feature some really classy Conductor Williams production, but Drake continues to insist on not letting things go and being annoying. You think I didn't see that you stayed silent? That's like you endorsing it all. May as well stand behind him. Again,
That little kid annoying, bro. That little kid, the fact that he want everybody to not stay silent, he want everybody to speak out against Kendrick. Like, down, bitch. What if I don't? What if I don't want to talk against Kendrick? Like, if it just like, what wrong with staying silent? Like, that's so annoying. Then nigga, like, I remember a nigga called him Homelander. They call Drake Homelander in real life. He might be because he acting like Homelander, dude. Like, he acting so immature and sensitive. Like, I don't need to call out Kendrick Lamar to be on your side, boy. For your own battles, gang. We want everybody to support him. I don't think anybody was really supporting Kendrick during the beef like that for real. I mean, honestly, yo, I'm lame. It was a 20v1. Future, The Weeknd, A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross. I mean, they were supporting him, but like, who? I mean,
again, if that's really how you feel and that's all it takes, why is Future on this record? What did that man have to do to get back into your good graces? As far as the structure of this track goes, it's like one long, sad run-on sentence of complaints and self-affirmations that I'm sure his fans will eat up. And then when it comes to the closer, Make Them Know, which if you haven't noticed is a part of this 4-part song series, Make Them Cry, Make Them Pay, Make Them Remember, Make Them Know. Of these 4 tracks, the vibe on this one is the most rancid, and somehow here Drake sounds even more defeated vocally than he was on the Heart Part 6. Not only that, but he drops matching moronic similes like I reserve the shit like I'm indigenous, I reserve it like I'm aboriginal. Yeah, I'm sure aboriginal and indigenous people like really felt themselves being seen on those bars. But more importantly, not only do we hear massive amounts of cope on this song with Drake mentioning not even wanting to submit this album to a Grammy evaluation process because he knows they won't even consider it. But the song has the worst ending of any Drake closing track ever, which I'll get into. But first, I want to say, I don't think Iceman is Drake's worst album, period, but I do think it is his most sorry-ass record so far. When it comes to his core projects, what we view as like, you know, kind of a normal Drake album, be it Take Care, Views, Nothing.
so if these 3 albums are normal Drake albums, what are the good Drake albums then? Wait, let me hear that again. The normal ones?
You know, kind of a normal Drake album, be it Take Care, Views, Nothing Was the Same, For All the Dogs, which...
So what is the good Drake album to what? He just named all of his bad shit. He said Nothing Was the Same, Views on Take Care. So what else is a good? What is the good Drake album then? Like he said those were normal. So what's the good? What's the great Drake album? So Far Gone, Thank Me Later. That's the great Drake album to you. What else? What else could possibly be? What Attempt to Be Alive? He already said More Life was mid. He already said Honestly Nevermind was mid. So that means Her Loss is the great Drake album to you. Her Loss. The only Drake albums I haven't heard you disrespect in this video are Her Loss, Thank Me Later, So Far Gone. Like what? You just call Take Care normal? I don't know if I'm hearing this right.
at the time was a notable step up over CLB. This record is Drake at
Well,
his
yeah,
saddest,
Certified Lover Boy. I don't know. I don't know how he feels about Certified Lover Boy. I don't know.
his lowest point ever. And the silver lining to all of that, in my view, is that I would hope it can really only go up from here. Like, this is really pretty much rock bottom. However, I don't want to hold my breath due to the way he finishes this final track up, saying, what happened to Drake from 2009 when All the Moments was intimate? What happened to Drake with The Innocents? I don't think we'll be seeing him again, which has to be the most cringe anime villain origin story bullshit any rapper has ever put onto their album ever. Like, I lost my innocence at the tender age of 40 and now the whole world has to pay. You'll never be seeing my kind side ever again. Like, this is a temper tantrum. Yeah, I'm feeling a light too on this thing. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you
No more Mr. Nice. My his favorite tracks were Whisper My Name. Least favorite was Make Them Know. Boy. Hey, smelling no more Mr. Nice. Smelling if it was, bro. Let me hear the actual people talking about this. Let me hear an actual review. The other two about to be in the same caliber as the Big Day and Welcome to the My House. You would have given it. Nobody being serious. Nobody being serious. I want to hear an actual review from fans, dude. Alright, so we on album of the year. Let me see these niggas' reviews. 6, 7. So 2. He the lowest for all the the more background hit Drake song like an artist of Driftwood with little clean to beyond into Yazakalo, nurture sense of victimhood. Alright, let me see these reviews. I'm only looking at the first page and I'm old. Let me see. What is it? He gave it a 2. He gave it a 2. Funny, let's talk about Iceman. An album in which a narcissist proves he no longer has anything original and straightforward and substantive left to say 15 years into his career. Look, I don't want to talk about the Kendrick beef anymore. Not only does it feel like every cohesive angle of the feud has been exhausted by totally civil war, totally civil Twitter discussions, podcast, TikTok, it's SOS. And people far smarter than I am, but it's also becoming almost impossible to mention Drake for immediately invoking Kendrick's name and vice versa. An unshakable spectrum. Oh, Jesus, this nigga yapping. Look, the beef was fun with that, alright. But alright. I need a 5-year cooldown before it can be fucked to voluntarily listen to any of the songs this beef spawned. The last thing I want to do is promise on in and encourage people to make more mustard means in the Bay 26. He's not talking about shit on this review. No, let's shift away from Kendrick. Thank you. Though, does he? Oh my god. Damn. He does it. That whole section was about Kendrick. Nobody, as lifeless and painfully dull as most of SSS for you was, it still felt like a much needed correction after such a public humiliation. Drake could not, under any circumstance, he's still talking about Kendrick. We treated into a collaborative melodic R&B album with one of his dear ones, someone who stuck by him even through his most embarrassing moments. Okay, I don't think he has talked about Iceman once. Even if the album was mostly not good, he's still not talking about Iceman. That's ultimately why I think Nokia became such a big hit. What is this nigga yapping about? Like, he hasn't. The chest puffing machismo and postering that defines a straight self-appointed nickname for himself during the album cycle, which by the way is a fucking insane thing to call yourself in 2026. Elicit nothing more than eye rolls and secondhand embarrassment. The cinematic big music track production a la Travis Scott of What Did They Miss shall work in theory. However, the song immediately collapses under Drake's insecure rise. He spends the trap train to retroactively make himself seem unbothered by the whole affair. He hasn't talked about the album yet. Oh man, this nigga yapping. I don't know how this got 2000 late. This is an L review. He was talking about everything except the album. Damn. Let me hear this. This is a more positive review. 6 out of 10. Let me see what he yapping about. That other nigga was yapping. Oh my gosh. Instead of Iceman, we got 2 more albums with What the Fuck Drake. Iceman is one of his best albums of the 2020s. Not a high standard, to be honest. The decade has seen mid and just downright bad, but Iceman delivers one of his best of the decade. You said that already. I'm just nitpicking. The production is pretty has some solid beats. It was pretty pretty repetitive. I don't think it was repetitive at all. I think it was actually very. It had different flows on it. It had different styles. I don't think this was repetitive. I don't know. Maybe those rap songs were a little repetitive. They were the same thing over and over. Those made them PA songs were a little repetitive. But like, some of the vocals aren't great on tracks like on Lil Birdie. It falls off in the second. It falls off crazy in the second half. All right. What are you talking about? Where the fuck is my goat Pink Panty at? Why will she be on this album? Did they ever collab? Your favorite is What Did They Miss? Worst is Lil Birdie. The worst song that you put here is National Treasure. That song is trash. I mean, but this is my last one. These niggas on album of the year be yapping. It was a mistake coming here. They don't even. Like, it was a mistake. Fuck man, are you done talking about being a gore or something? And you're a nice man. It's killing me, Jesus. I think everyone's gonna say Drake is finished for the next few years. This man doesn't change. Same features, same beat sometimes. I the way he does that, but it's getting incredibly boring. Not to mention that he released 3 albums among all of this, which I won't bother checking up because I really don't want to. If it's all the same stuff or old, same, it's all the same old stuff or worse. Come on, people, come on. Y'all hating, dude. That album wasn't that bad.